just this music a little bit. All right, so we're live at least on YouTube, and how about Twitch? Let's see. Here's the YouTube link. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna notify, and here, doing development stream now. Development live stream now. Here's the YouTube link, and here is the Twitch link. Let's see if this will work. We're gonna ping a couple of people here. And let's see if that worked. Something new I'm trying today is because I'm multi-streaming, so I'm streaming to several platforms at once. So ideally, I'd like people to come to the Discord server and chat in there. But I'd hate to miss something from a viewer on YouTube or Facebook. So I'm trying a new sort of chat integration. So hopefully, I'll actually be able to see if somebody sends me a chat through one of the other channels. So let's hope that works. So I think I need to adjust this music even more. There we go. Okay. And we are here. Synthvr development stream once again live and running. Today we're going to be implementing a couple of new features. I've been working a little bit earlier today and implemented a couple of things that I will show you. So from today, basically, let's see here, I can see it. Something I noticed when people were playing with the menu was that you have this sort of long press to spawn a module from the menu. Maybe it makes sense if I just show you. Let me just boot up SteamVR. We'll have a look. So we're gonna have some improvements to the menu, and there's also an improvement to how connections are displayed. It should make that a little bit more clear. So let's see how that goes. We have a couple of emojis on the chat here, so that's good. There's someone here. That is nice to see. We're going to be working on the index today, just because it's a nice headset and it works quite well with the SteamVR integration. So let me just see if it'll boot. If it'll boot up, we can have a look at the changes. Indeed, it looks like it worked. And there's a thing about SteamVR that if I want audio in the headset, I have to sort of re-enable audio mirroring. So I'm just going to do that and get into VR, of course. See here, we're going to enable just the right controller. It's just a little easier for me that way. I'm just waiting for it to. There we go. Okay, and let's see if this works. Actually, let me just boot this up in full screen, just to be sure that you can see what's going on. And we'll move the mic a little bit. There we go. So what I have here is the Pink Floyd patch from earlier. I'm just going to teleport around a little bit and switch it off. So this is the patch that I did this on the run cover with, and so it's just good for a little illustration. So something that you'll notice is that have these like little white dots inside of the connectors now. And so if you start pulling a connection, you will actually see this little white dot appear. And this is just to indicate that something is connected. So this is something new I'm going to try as a sort of UX thing to see if that helps a little bit in terms of at least sort of getting an overview of the rack you're working on. Ideally, they should probably also inherit the color of the connection. So for example, this one should be, I don't know what you call that color, turquoise, green. This one should be purple, etc. It's just to show you that there's something going on. And of course, if you route this to somewhere, you know, it'll have the little point on the other end as well. So that's all really. And what you could do potentially also later is you could animate these. So they do this in VCV Rack, where as a way to sort of visualize what's coming out or what's coming into a connector, you can animate this little dot here. So you can sort of imagine that the dot will sort of expand depending on what kind of sound is or what kind of signal is coming into it. So that's how that might work. What might be the problem with that is it might be a little expensive from like a compute point of view to calculate. We'll basically need to calculate like the root mean square value of each of these like audio buffers coming in and out. So it might not be feasible, but I hope it'll work. Anyway, you guys can let me know, what do you think about this? I know it's a small change, but do you think this is useful or do you think this is like clutter? Let me know. Anyway, I'm just gonna grab this menu here. The other thing that I did that I just wanted to show was that I noticed a problem where, you know, I've called this screen the touch screen because that's sort of how I envision it. It's like you know, a sort of a touch screen you have here next to you. But actually the way that the interaction is set up, it's just, you're sort of encouraged to point and click. So because it'll be further away from you, you'd want to sort of go somewhere and then like click in. So you have this like little pointer and you're pointing in and you're doing stuff. But what I notice a lot of people doing, and I did notice a YouTuber, Tom Custom, I think, trying it out tonight, and I reviewed the stream this morning, and I noticed something that he did that also I've seen other people do is they'll have the menu pretty close, and then it'll sort of like almost as if you are touching the menu. This is where I go to sort of select something. So I go very close, like literally in VR space, maybe like 5 centimeters away. Obviously you can select stuff from out here, but actually it feels pretty good to just be really close, especially if the menu is a little bit smaller like this. You know, it sort of feels like you're using maybe a touch interface, also because you can sort of swipe like this through your items. The problem was when you spawn a module, if you have a look at, if I go over here and then spawn a module, you'll see it'll come out of, oh, let's see, maybe that didn't work properly actually. Okay. That's not how it's supposed to be. Well, I found a bug then. Let me see, maybe I just didn't test it well enough. Okay. Oh, I might have just set the threshold very weirdly. So if I'm far away, okay, there's a problem here. So anyone who's tried it will know that earlier what would happen was like this, you know, the module will sort of spawn into your hand. It'll come out of the menu and it'll come very close to your hand, like that. And so the problem would be that when you then went really close and you'd want to spawn a module from here, it would sort of end up clipping through, and let me just show that. It would end sort of being like this, like sort of clipped through the menu. It would be a bit problematic, and you'd have to sort of know that, oh, I can like go behind here to grab it. But so the solution to that, which apparently is not completely solved yet, is that you would, when you go close, whenever you go sort of below some minimum distance, the menu will sort of just force it to be spawned in front of it. So even though you're this close, it'll sort of spawn maybe in front of your hand a little bit, but then at least it's not hidden behind the menu like this. So that'll sort of be the flow now, that you can sort of go in and you can, if you go really close, what will sort of happen is it'll spawn up the module just in front of the menu. So if you have a look at this, just in front. So just to avoid confusion. But obviously there's some math here that has gone wrong, because obviously it's supposed to spawn like this within a certain distance, and I can see when I move it around, I'm not sure that threshold has been set correctly. Basically, I think it's too small. Maybe it's because it depends on the menu scale. I'm not sure. If the menu is really big, yeah. I'm not actually sure. I'm gonna have to debug this. This might not be the most fun thing to debug on stream, but that's definitely something that needs to be fixed. Okay, so anyway, that's the idea of it. Hello, Michael. Cheers. It would be nice if you could drag out a module from the menu and it would spawn. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. The old menu had this setup where it was sort of like a 3D. It was like a miniature of the actual module that came out. I don't think that's gonna be that nice from like a compute perspective once you have a lot of modules, but maybe you could do something where you could look at like the gesture of moving your controller away from the menu somehow. That would sort of pull it out. I'm not sure, but definitely it would be cool to do something like that instead of, because right now it's like a long press, which is okay, but it's not perfect. I'm just gonna add to my list of bugs here. Say spawn modules seem to block to menu spawn area. So threshold wrong, or something to do with direction. It's because there's some like some vector math inside of that. That's a little bit tricky to get just right. But anyway, that is noted as a bug to fix. So what I thought we could work on, because if we just have a look at like the roadmap, lots of things have been completed, which is awesome. I have sort of this part one of the release ready modules that has been almost completed. Like I wanted to have at least the oscillator and this filter. This is prime wave and prime filter. Now we have prime space, which is the reverb. It's based on a freeverb implementation used in Juice. And then we have a delay to make, which I think maybe today is not the day to do it, but something that I do want to do potentially today is toasts. And if you are familiar with Android terminology, a toast is basically this message that appears at the bottom of your screen to give you a short message. I don't know if they have toasts on iOS, but it's basically like a notification for you. And I'm finding more and more that we need some way of giving the user some sort of short notification. So for example, one of the things would be a CPU warning. So on Oculus Quest, obviously you can You can use maybe 20, 30 modules, depending on what kind of modules you're using. But there's going to be a point where you're going to hit the CPU ceiling, right? And you can't, it's not going to be feasible to add any more to your patch, and then it's going to start lagging, it's going to start sounding bad. So I want to display some sort of message to the user that, hey, you are getting close to your CPU limit now. Could also be used for, let's say, for example, hey, you tried to load a patch that isn't compatible with this version of Synthvr or something along those lines. So that's something that I would like to work on. I put it in here, the backlog for toasts. Another one we have that's been requested is rack sizes. Let's see here, a message from dinner roll. It's coming off fast. Even on desktop, a CPU notification would be nice. Yeah, I agree. And the problem is also, as a user, you don't necessarily know when stuff is crapping out. Like, you know, if you're very familiar with how an unfilled audio block sounds, maybe you can identify that there's like, oh, there's a problem on the CPU thread. But really, once you're in it and you're in VR and you're doing stuff, especially enough if you're not familiar with like how an audio app works, then you're gonna need that notification. So that's something I thought we could work on today. And then the other one would be rack sizes. So we have this problem that, let me jump back into VR. We have this problem that we have two sizes of racks, and they're sort of based on popular real-world rack sizes. Let me just clear my session. There we go. And we have a 50 HP. Oh, that's also a bug with the spawning. Need to look into that. Anyway, we have a 50 and a 70. So here's the 50 and here's the 70. Problem is that okay, this is a little bit broken. All right. Problem is, a 70 fits these two modules, and that's it. So I mean, that's okay, but it's a problem, and quite often we end up with sort of half-filled racks, unfilled racks, and a 70 only really sort of works for this combo or smaller modules. But for if you're sequencing, maybe you'd like a sequencer and then an oscillator or something. So we just need some bigger options for racks, and that's pretty straightforward to do. But that is something else that I would like to try and do today. Like the thin racks. Thanks, dinner roll. Yeah, I think it works better. All the modules are slim now. They don't need to be real life sized, of course. So, all right, let's do those racks first. I'm gonna open up Modo, and Modo, for anyone who's not familiar, is a 3D editing software. Mike, how about being able to resize the racks? Yeah, that would be ideal. I have this idea that you could, because the racks have these handles on both sides, and I have this idea that you could maybe like use the handles to sort of stretch the rack larger and smaller. I just haven't gotten around to working on it, basically. Yeah, if you could pick any size, that would be nice. There's also a suggestion to just have be able to snap racks together, and that way you can sort of make the rack that you need. But then you'd still have the problem that the rack ends at some point and the module can't overlap between two racks, for example. So let's open up, that would be, I guess, here. Let's open up the racks 3D file. Oops. Okay, there we go. So if you've been with Synthvr for a while, you remember this was the first rack setup. Before it was suggested to go to floating racks. And now, of course, they are, basically these freestanding racks that you can move around. And they're very, very simple, as you can see. And the way that we would make these bigger would simply be to adjust these. So let me make a, what should we make? We have a 50, we have a 70. Should we make a 90? I never played that version, but I saw it in one of your YouTube videos. Oh, okay, that's cool, dinner roll. You've been out of the loop for a little bit. Sometimes it's nice to come back after a while. To feel like a lot of stuff has happened. There's new stuff to play with, right? So, let's see here. In order to make a, now to extend this, I need to go to vertices. I'm going to select all these verts. And I believe 1 HP is, now I have to remember how many like VR units an HP is. I can do it by measuring this thing at the edge. Okay, so 1 HP is literally 10, what? 700 millimeters, 70 centimeters. Okay, so yeah, okay, so 1 HP is literally 1 centimeter in game space, in VR space. So I guess we can just move these. So we'll want another 10 centimeters on each side, I suppose. There we go. We'll also add 10 centimeters here. Boom. 90. I totally agree with you guys that we should do like floating, not floating, but like resizable racks. I think that's the way to go. It's just hard to figure out how to prioritize everything, like what to do next. I think we should probably think about doing that soon. But this is a quick fix for those who need big racks. So we'll just make a couple more of these. There you go, that's a big rack. Can't go wrong with a rack that big. That's for sure. So, okay. We need more than that. I don't know. Let's just indulge and do one enormous rack. The rack of your fantasies. Bigger. It's VR. It doesn't cost anything. I gotta go. Okay, cool. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Michael. Hope to see you around Aarhus. Michael is my friend from Aarhus. Cool. 130 HP. What do you say, guys? Do you need more than that, or is that like good? Do we need smaller ones? Do we need smaller than 50? I guess not, right? You can only fit like a couple modules in here. Let's try and do... Yeah, that should be fine. I agree. Let's go with these for now, and then hopefully we'll do adjustable ones later. So let's export, and gotta export as an FBX, and that would that be case? Is that the name of that model? Just a sec. No. Tisn't. Racks. There we are. Base racks. I guess that would be the one. All right. So, dinner roll, I think 50 is fine for the smallest. I have some funky groupings that never fit the way I want. Yeah, yeah. It doesn't help that the new reverb module is 23 HP. So that will literally not fit with anything, because the smallest module I have other than that is 5. The split and the output is 5 HP. So yeah, there are a couple of groups here that won't ever fit until we get down to you can adjust like the individual number of HP for each rack. We could do it with some sort of scaling, but it won't look that good. So I think I do want to try and do something a little more sophisticated for it. What's going on here? Okay, exit. So, so now the models for racks should be updated. Yes, there they are. And so this is a long time ago, so I'm gonna have to come back here and remember how to do it. So floating rack, and the way that you do it is you make a prefab variant of that. Call it floating rack 90. I have to go in here and remember. Okay. So I need to go in here. Wait a minute. Okay, all right. In the mesh, I will add the rack mesh, but I will replace it with the 90 HP one, and that won't work until we compute some wireframes for it. So that's what we'll do now. We'll do 90 and generate. There we go. So that is 90 now. There we go. And we also need to set it somewhere around here. Floating rack, rack lane. And that is now a 90 rack lane. There we go. We'll have to do that a couple of times just to get it all set up. So we'll instantiate a new floating rack here. We'll now call it the floating rack 110. And do the same. Oops. Paste that in. Rename it. And add the new mesh, 110. And compute the wireframe. This is it's kind of neat the way this works. It's a library I bought from the asset store, and it's like a wireframe shader. And what you do is you actually you pre-bake it. So you bake a sort of a mesh that is wireframe shader compatible, and then you're not computing wireframes at all at runtime. So everything is very cheap to show. You can show it basically with a single material, which is pretty great. Okay. And I needed to also update, of course, the number of rack slots, what they're called in here. That is the HP amount. And let's see here. We shall do it one more time. And that will be the final time. Floating rack, 130 HP. And again, we want to add that mesh. 130 30. Generate wireframe. Speed optimizations are always welcome. Indeed, 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 dinner roll. And the big thing is that it has to always run on Oculus Quest. So the app overall has been designed around working on basically like an Android, like a mobile VR device. So, you know, it has a big impact on how the app looks and how the app feels. And of course, I mean, for PC VR users, could it look more realistic? Like, could it look cooler? Could it have more effects? Yeah, definitely. But that won't fly on Quest. So, and so the PC VR users at least get the benefit that the app runs quite well on PC also. It runs fast and, you know, that it leaves more compute to do audio engine stuff, and you can do more modules and all that, right? So I follow the Ableton Live philosophy, less is more, and just gonna keep it simple, and that'll hopefully have like a speed benefit for most users. Even on PC, I dig the fast and fluid experience. Yeah, I agree with you. I prefer it that way. Just keep it fast, keep it moving. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't matter too much that it's not super pretty. Obviously, you want it to look decent, but I'd rather keep it minimal so that it'll run well for everyone. Also, so we don't have to make a lot of exceptions between Quest and PC VR, that, you know, standalone and PC will be like very similar experiences. And you could take a patch that you made in standalone and move it directly over to PC, and hopefully also the other way around. Although we have seen that moving very large PC VR patches to Quest is a bit of an issue. That's why we need the toasts. So at least the users know that it won't run well. So okay, what's next? So now we have those racks, and now we need to include them in the menu so you can spawn them. So to do that, we have a scene. This is a little bit of a manual setup. We have this little camera scene that'll take a picture of a module, and it will basically render like a transparent background picture of the model, and we can use that in the menu. This is something that could be automated to just like automatically run all the modules through this, but so far I haven't seen a big benefit to doing that. So I'm gonna keep it simple for as long as I can. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna clear this list. Then we're gonna take all our floating racks here. We're gonna put them in prefabs to show, and what this will do is it'll render each of the racks, and then it'll save the thumbnail to this folder here. So let's see. General, it would be nice to have maybe a HUD where you can toggle that shows how much CPU you have available. I max out my sessions all the time. Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that would be good. In VCV Rack, don't they have a like a CPU meter module that you can use? Maybe we could do something similar. Like just a tiny module that fits into your rack that you could look to sort of view. My issue is I want to try and avoid too much sort of HUD stuff going on. I want to keep you in the space as much as possible. But it could be an option definitely to have some sort of module to do that. All right, so we got the racks, and I'm sure they will render. Let's have a look. Whoops, I might have done something bad. That's fine. Oh, okay, there's a couple of problems here. First of all, the racks are too big. they don't fit in the camera view. So the other problem that I'm going to fix now is that they also have like debug stuff enabled. I'm just going to have to go in and disable this. So this is the way when you're working on it, you can see what are all the sort of individual slots that are available in the rack. And it was while building it to figure out if things were getting inserted correctly into the rack. So I think that should be it now. The debug mesh is turned off for that. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move the camera back so that these modules hopefully will, or these racks hopefully will fit into the view. Let's have a look. We're gonna do 2.5 meters back. Nope. It's gonna have to be pretty far away to fit all of them. And also, let's get some of that music back on. Really liking this album, Soma Toast. Alright. Still doesn't fit. The issue with that is the first one is going to look tiny, but it has to fit in a box. That's the problem. Almost. Almost got it. Okay, we have to go a little bit further back. And then they're all going to fit perfectly. From tiny little rack up to enormous rack. There we go. Okay. And let's have a look in, where's that supposed to be? That's supposed to be menu, create view, thumbnails, and turn refresh. We have all these floating rack things here now. I'm gonna import those. Making sure that the texture doesn't get scaled up too high. There we go. And let's put them in a folder. Racks. Okay. The other thing we need to do is we need to set up some info. So basically each module, the way it's set up now, has this little sort of info thing. So this is just sort of a little data object. In Unity, this is called a scriptable asset, scriptable object. And it's just something that you can use to, for example, store some settings or have sort of complex objects that can get saved, but that you can then bring up, and they can have different sorts of logic associated with them. So we're gonna assign these new racks that we've made. They're gonna belong to the racks category, and the maker, the 42 tones category. Okay. And what's next? So what is next is we gotta do that for each of them. So 110 and 130. 10. Let me just fill in the info first. So this is the info that appears in the menu. There's a little description of like, what is this thing supposed to do? 110 HP rack that can hold modules and be moved around in space. That's all there is to it, really. There we go. The rest of the settings are fine. Leona, hi. Hi, Phoebe. On Facebook. Looks like the chat integration worked. It's pretty dope. How are you guys doing in Manchester? Are you locked down? 130. Good. Cool. Now we need to add this to, there's a big list of the modules that will be shown. So we need to make them available there. And this is actually something I'd like to change the way it works because it's not super nice. But maybe we can deal for now. So basically in the menu, you have, here's the menu. It's called a world space canvas. This is Unity's UI system that can be rendered in 3D space as well. And we have these views that are sort of getting enabled and disabled depending on what we're doing. See this one, this is the create view. This will render the list of categories and all the cards with all the modules that you could use. And underneath, I believe, module selection view. Let's see if we can just have a look here. Module selection view, that's this one, right? We also have a module info view. This is the one where you go in to learn something about the module you picked. But in the selection view, we have some lists. So the selection view will display this list of categories. These are the scriptable objects, data objects that have some information about category and what stuff belongs in which categories. And then we have this that'll basically load up all the module info and just sort of put it into the correct categories and display it at the time that you need it. And this isn't, I'm not super happy with this system here because I need to go here to edit it. But that is something that could be coming up. It'll just take a list of things. It'll be a little easier to do. What we'll just do is we'll add these new racks that we have created. There we go. We see the other racks all the way up here, but you can't reorder. So I'm just gonna put them in like this. And I'm gonna apply as an override for the create view. There we go. All right. That should technically be it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try running this and see if it works. All right. So well, here we have the menu. We have our two tiny racks. But now if we go to the rack section, yes, indeed, we now see a bunch of bigger ones. They're spawning all wrong, so that's something that needs to be fixed, of course, but oh, look at that, that's pretty big, isn't it? So you can fit, what can you fit in there? You can fit a wave and a filter, and what else could you fit? What, an envelope? It's always spawning on the module now, which is annoying. That's a good size for sort of a channel strip, like or I guess like an oscillator, filter, and an envelope. Those are three things that you typically need. I'll probably end up doing it like this. So I would have the envelope on the left, and then for example, use the envelope to trigger some stuff. Maybe I would even split it. It's all spawning on the menu now, which is annoying me. But yeah, maybe we'd split it like that, and we'd also send the edge there, for example. And whoop, there we go. And it all fits in a single rack now, which is pretty dope. Pretty dope. Let's see if it'll make a sound. Yes. Good. Very good. Okay, so what else can we do? We can use the 110 HP. This looks starting to look a little bit insane to me. This also spawned a 130 just for the fun of it. Well, it looks enormous. But then on the other hand, it actually, I can reach it all from one spot. So maybe you could even have one that's slightly bigger than this. Let's put some stuff in. So let's say I want a clock, a sequencer. Oop. Okay. Can I have like a whole effects chain on here? Can I have an oscillator? Can I fit a filter also? Oops. There we go. Yes. So I can fit a whole thing here. And what else can I do? The amp. Yeah. Okay, so I could potentially fit an entire like sequenced thing here. That's pretty good. Let's try and just connect it up just for the fun of it. Let's use another mod. I'm split about these modifiers. I don't know if they're good or not. Send this here. Send this here. Okay. Yep, that worked. And we can adjust stuff. Yep. That works completely fine. Let's just listen to it for the fun of it. Probably won't sound very good, but it'll be something. Gotta have the right color. Yeah. There you go. Okay. And we have this slightly bigger one. I'm just sort of trying it out now just to get a feel for it. So what if I'm doing like a sequencer thing here? Oh. There's another bug, I think. Does it fit? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, it looks like it does. It's just a little finicky. So I can fit 2 sequencers in one of these racks. Can I fit 3 in the big one here? In the big boy 130 rack? Probably not. Let's have a look. I'm gonna spawn stuff the way I've seen it being done. Oh yeah, it looks like I can... Nope! Oh, that's a shame, it doesn't fit. This is why we need resizable racks. This is pretty nice though. I have 2 sequencers. I could have a clock at the end. And I could probably like, I could go for a splitter. Split the clock out. Go. And what else would fit on here? I assume a envelope. Good. Yep. As you can see, we can trigger an envelope just fine. Good. It's meshing with the backtrack. Ah, yeah, it's so the Somatoast thing is so synthy. It works pretty well. Anyway, I would call that an enormous success. We implemented the racks, so I am going to discard this, and then I am going to add all these changes. Yeah. Okay. Add some new rack sizes. There we go. Just committing directly to develop right now. All right, about this other thing, this Neptune is asking about the drag out thing. I'm not entirely sure, but I think Michael was referring to, like, you remember in the original menu, the round menu, you'd sort of have the thing and then you'd sort of grab it like that, sort of pull it out of the menu. While now it's sort of more of a static, like you point at the thing you want, then you press for a while and then it jumps out for you. I think that's what he means. It would be nice to sort of grab them out of the menu, literally, which might be possible to do. We'll see. Anyway, let's just fix this menu thing while we're at it. So this was something I was working on earlier today. I gotta admit, I'm maybe not at my finest today, but I did feel like this was working just fine earlier. And the thing we were working on was the module spawner. So this is a component that can be used by, for example, the menu to spawn a module. And this is what's being used when you long press a module, for example. So let's have a look at that. Oh. Well, I have a pretty good idea what that problem is. Okay. Yeah, okay. It looks like I maybe just used a local space thing instead of a world space thing. So if you're not familiar, in Unity, every sort of position is relative to something. So if we have, let's say I create a game object here. This game object, this could be anything, but it could be a model, it could be a module, it could be a controller, whatever. And this has got some position in the VR space. For example, it can have a Y position, and this is a Y of 1. That is approximately 1 meter from the origin. And so the position when I'm here is referring to the position from the origin, which is in this case the very center here. We see this model, this controller stuck in the cross. That's like the origin of the VR world, the very center. And once I then have game objects inside a game object, you see I now have this other game object, and I place it the exact same place as the other one. You see it has a Y of 0. So, okay, that's weird. Why does it have a Y of 0? I thought it was 1 meter above the origin. Well, it is 0 meters above or below this other game object that it's inheriting from. So that's what you mean when you're talking about something being in world space. This thing is literally in the world, 1 meter above the world origin. And this is local space, this game object 1. It is literally 0 meters in any direction from its parent. So, and I think that's what I got messed up here. I think this was supposed to be a local space calculation. So let's have a look if it is indeed that. That would explain some weird behavior earlier. Oh, it's nice. I have the music in the index. Okay, so let's have a look. I long press. It spawns very close. But I do believe the threshold is incredibly high. I have to be more than a unity meter away in order for it to come to me. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that is good. So what we then need to do is we just need to adjust that threshold that decides how far away it should be in order to sort of pull a module towards my hand instead of just spawning it in front of the menu. What that means is I have to remember where that is. That is always the problem. Because I have a pretty terrible memory. So let's have a look. It's in here somewhere. Create view. A module card. A module card's got a module spawner. Yeah, okay, so this is the threshold. So when you are less than 80 centimeters away from the menu, it'll spawn it in that way. And really, we only care if you like 30, maybe 30 centimeters is a more reasonable amount. Let's have a look. Yep, and there's another one, and that is in the info view, because the create button in the info view also has a module spawner. These should be linked, but again, should have, would have, could have. We're getting it done. All right, let's have another look. So now technically I should be able to spawn a module into my hand if I am more than 30 VR centimeters away from the menu. And I feel like I'm definitely 30 centimeters away here. There we go. Okay, and if I go in, maybe this is less than 30. It spawns in front of the menu. More than 30, less than 30. Okay. Maybe that should be tweaked a bit. Maybe it should be 20 centimeters away. All I care about is when you go here and you're like, yeah, I want a module. I don't want it to spawn like that. I want it to spawn so that you definitely can see what you did. And I think 30 is too high because you're gonna be here and you're gonna have to grab for it even though you didn't have to. Yeah, let's make it 20. Twenty VR centimeters. Okay, and where's the create view again? Create. There we go. Let's have another look. Okay, so the threshold is now 20 centimeters in order to spawn the module that way. So I'm definitely more than 20 away now. Yep, still more than 20. Definitely less than 20. Good. Slightly more than 20, slightly less. And if I go really close, whoop, there we go. And if I'm like really far away, I definitely don't want it to spawn on the menu now. No, and it doesn't. And of course, yeah, let's do the ultimate test. Make this menu huge. We'll place it very far away. Like I'll just use it like this, like it's like a huge hollow deck thing. And I'm like Minority Report. I'm like, I want Prime Wave. It spawns right into my hand. Almost. Perfect. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's commit that change. Why did the font get changed? It's probably something to do with the menu. Okay. The main change we care about is this. Local space instead of world space. Okay. bugfixes, bug for display. What did I call this? Menu distance spawning threshold, which I used world space instead of local space. This is just a little message for me to be able to remember what I did. I use these whenever I do a new release. I will go to my history and I will see what are the things that I actually committed onto Synthvr. Okay, so we can say for sure more rack sizes that has been covered. And we fixed the bug, and that was this thing here. Good. So we're an hour in. Let's see, do we want to do more work? Yeah, maybe we'll do a little bit more. Something I was thinking about was these connection modifiers, but I'm not sure I want to deal with that now. I think maybe it's a little boring. So I think toasts are more fun. So let's think about what a toast might look like in VR. So, you know, let's see if I can actually manage to draw this up. Maybe I should use Photoshop actually. Okay. Away Illustrator. Novices, hey, I saw you on Twitch. Yeah, we trust you. Novices, if you say that you got, if you supported Synthvr, thanks so much for doing that. I'm just gonna update your role. Or did Sir Fancy did it? Thanks, Sir Fancy. You are a gentleman. You are a gentleman indeed. Okay, so get ready for incredible drawing skills, incredible art skills. You can see the learned thing still shows up on Photoshop for me. There we go. There we go. So let's imagine we have VR space here, and we're like. Let's make this nicer. We'll stood here. This is our headset, and you know, we have our controllers. Dinner roll, of course. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Of course. There you go. Very nice. Thanks so much, guys, for supporting the project. You're already doing so much by like participating and coming up with suggestions, but the money does help because it makes me able to buy some of the gear that I need and software licenses and stuff like that. So for example, like Creative Cloud isn't cheap. Buying a Quest isn't cheap. And, you know, I try to borrow stuff where I can, but it really does help towards the software stuff, the software licenses that is needed, and then also like the hardware. So I'm not really personally making any money off of this. Hopefully once we release, I hope to make some of all these development hours back, but that's another story. Anyway, here we are, and so what I'm sort of imagining is I need to figure out. Actually, let me just clear this background again. I just want to redraw a guy on top. Have I thought about Patreon? Yes, I did think about it, Dinner Roll, but I decided that actually what I prefer is just simple, clean. I want to make sure the project, the alpha, is accessible to everyone. The most important thing for me is that people like join in and play and try it out, and it's so incredible to see when people are like uploading jams and they're like see all the things that they've created. So I want to keep it super easy, super accessible, and then have this donation thing. You know, I'm planning to sell it at some point. I hope to be able to give keys to whoever supports it, but the reason that I haven't launched it as sort of a pre-release sale thing is that I'm not actually sure what the stores will let me do once I get that far. So it'll sort of depend on what I can do, and how many supporters there are, of course. But I really appreciate the donations, and they do help towards the gear that we need. And I decided this simple system: if you're downloading a new version and you haven't supported yet, and you feel like, you know what, I'll get Daniel some money worth a coffee or something, then you know that is just going towards making this project really good, which is what I think we all want. So anyway, here we are, and here's my VR man. He's facing this direction. This is the up, and this is left and right. Patreon does take a percentage, Neptune. Yeah, that's true. But then again, itch.io also takes a percentage. It's not huge, but it is enough that you can tell, and you're like, oh, okay, I lost a bit of. But you know, that's their business, right? They're hosting games and making it all available on the same platform, so you can't fault them for that. All right, so here's a VR headset, and we need to figure out what a toast looks like. And I'm sort of imagining, you know, in front of the user, we will have. I'm sort of imagining, you know, if this is like 2 meters up and this is like the floor, then maybe like, I don't know, 50 centimeters above the floor level, like in front of the user. So have this like, basically like on Android, this like maybe curve. I don't think it can even be curved actually. It can probably be curved if you really wanted to, but in general, do you know what the percentage is? I want to say 5%, but I don't remember, to be honest. Good. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, stop. Anyway, this is us. And what I'm sort of thinking is that we need, sort of down here at the bottom of our field of view, we want like a slightly angled bar of text, and it'll have, you know, it'll have some info on it, like CPU is too damn high. You know? Oh, Neptune's got it here. 3%. That's right. 3%. That sounds right. Oh, they take a higher percentage for smaller donations? It seems kind of weird to me, but alright. Yeah, I think it's fair. I think it's a fair percentage for what you're getting. You know, I mean, could I host it myself and like on the website and all this stuff? I mean, yeah, but then again, people can like people can follow it, and it's easy to do like development logs and stuff, I think it's fair enough. Anyways, yeah. So Steam and App Store are going to be a lot more. But the thing about Steam and App Store is you have to put it on Steam, right? I mean, people aren't gonna go on itch.io, and at least I don't think so. I think like there's a lot of people that would never even hear about it if it didn't come onto Steam. Anyways, this is my idea for now. 30%, that's high. Then again, you do get people that are discovering your thing also. So yeah, publicity, and you can be part of their sales and all this stuff as well, and people will hear about it that way. Okay. What we need is a canvas. I'm gonna call this a toast canvas. I think Steam overall is a pretty good platform. I think they're pretty fair. Price is pretty high, but at least they're less controlling than, for example, the App Store. I haven't dealt with the Oculus Store yet, but I've also heard they can be a little bit difficult, or at least very specific requirements. All right, so toast. It's gonna be. I'm gonna make it like that. I'm gonna make it way less tall. Let's see, where is it? Where's my little toast? I'm gonna need a background. Yeah, it's not too hard to get on Steam. They have some good. I think it used to be harder, unless you're talking about. Unless you're talking about Oculus, I don't know. Okay. So here is our toast canvas, and I think we want it to be even wider than that, right? The height is probably okay. So the thing about the toast is it should just be in your field of view. And it should have some text on it, of course. So let's do some text. We have some absolutely enormous text here, which is not what we want. I'm gonna parent that onto the background. Okay. Oh, it's all the way over here now. Right. Okay. Oh, it's enormous scale, this one. Alright, now we have some text. Hello, I am a toast. And we're gonna put that in the middle of the middle. We're gonna make it way bigger. 150. Yeah, it's not bad. I'm gonna make the rotation the same as the actual thing. And we are going to need the actual Synthvr font, which is Futura. Okay. And so you could sort of imagine that this would come up and it would say, warning, CPU usage too high. do 2 lines. We could do, maybe it should be like a color. No, I don't like that at all. CPU usage too high. I don't know. Maybe it should be red. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe the background could be red. Let me just pull I do have a red color that works. Can you change the back? Yeah, exactly. We are thinking the same thought, my friend. Let's see here. Where did I put it? Module info view. I might use this color here. It's like a muted purpley red. Maybe that's not even clear enough. Maybe it does need to be more. I'm actually slightly color blind or like color deficient, so it takes me a little while to work out a good color. This should be enough to get your attention. CPU usage too damn high. And I think you can use tags like this. Yes, you can. Warning, CPU usage too high. It'll be something like that. I don't know exactly what it should read. If you have any ideas, let me know. CPU usage too damn high. The other thing about it is I want this to be following us. But let's deal with that in a second. Let's bring it up. 1/2 meter from the floor and 1/2 meter in front of you. Just for a little test, I'm just gonna put it there. So you'd have to imagine you're standing here. Oh, it's pretty big actually. Should be a pretty short toast. Okay, a couple of thoughts on this. Maybe include a note about how to fix it from me. Yes, you're right. You're completely right. It does need to. We shouldn't give any worthless error messages, like those. What is it? Windows error was an error or something like that. They have these like really funny error messages from old Windows. Whatever. Unknown error, stuff like that. That is what we want to avoid, because there's nothing worse than feeling like stuff isn't working and you don't know how to fix it. Like then it's just in your way, isn't it? So maybe you would say CPU usage too high. Maybe we need a title and a description, actually. Maybe that would be the way to do it. So, see, the toast overall can be 600, I think is fine. And then maybe this take up the 1/2, and then the description could take up the other half. Maybe we'd make that a bit smaller. consider, well, how would you explain that to someone in a short sentence? Short sentence, sorry. You could say, warning, CPU usage too high. Try removing some modules from your session. Maybe? Does that work? You have more modules in your session than your CPU can handle. You might have more modules in your session than your CPU can handle. Try removing some modules. Try removing some modules. Maybe like this. You might have more modules in your session than your CPU can handle. It's too much information, actually. This is too much. Try removing some modules in your session. Okay. Just moving stuff around now. I mean, that looks okay to me. What do you think? It's a pretty short message. And a piece of advice for how to fix it. Let me try to stand. Okay, it needs to be a little higher to get my attention. Because if I'm looking here, you might be able to see it on screen, but it's actually out of my field of view right here. I have to look a little bit down to see it. Okay. Maybe too long on the sides. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Ideally you want to make sure that there's a little bit of space for a longer message. But I think I agree that it should fit on a little bit less than this. 3300. I think a sentence should not be longer than that. Oops, I did something bad. I think we're okay. I mean, that looks pretty good. And then let's put it slightly up. Yeah, that looks better. I agree. I agree, dinner man. Let's have a look. So obviously this is supposed to follow you around. So when you're looking around, it's supposed to follow your view. And it should just be at the bottom of your view. Seems a little high now. This is very much just feeling it out, like where it feels good to place this. I think I'm just gonna place it 0.65. I guess this depends on your height as well. Okay. I guess if it's there for a little while, you'll probably notice it. All right, so let's make it follow. Let's make it follow the camera. So we have some other stuff that follows a camera. Maybe we can reuse some of those things. We have smooth follow. That'll almost work, but not quite. But let's Let's start there. So if you follow the oops. We need to lock this. Lock. You should follow the VR camera. Okay, and it needs to be like 0.5 in front of you. I think it might be facing the wrong way now. Let's have a look. Okay, okay, it's very much in my face now. Can you see that on screen? Yeah, you can. I'm definitely out of CPU right now. Warning! Warning! It's facing the right way, which is great. But I think it should be locked on the it should be locked down here somewhere, so it's not like blocking me from doing stuff. Meme is saying it's obviously a long-term thing, but it might be neat to try determining which modules are causing CPU load. Yeah, I've done a bit of profiling already, and it is mostly the processing of modules, but there's a difference obviously between which modules consume more CPU. Surprisingly, the reverb doesn't consume very much CPU. So, but for example, the sequencer, I think the implementation is not super optimized yet, so so that consumes more. But in terms of the connections and moving signals in between, that's actually happening quite fast. That's not a huge problem, it seems, from a performance point of view. In a row, that looks annoying. Get a low HP sound to play. You've got mail. You've got mail. The whole idea of a toast is that it should you know, be subtle, and it should not sort of interfere too much. It should just deliver a message to you and then go away. So the going away part we haven't really dealt with yet, but we can deal with that later. So the other thing we'll want to be able to do is we want to extend this smooth follow so that it will stick. It will lock on a rotation, so it will lock the Y rotation. I think that would be it. So we would need a sort of flag to say lock rotation, and will you need to drag it away? No, on Android typically it'll pop up, and then it'll have some sort of timeout. Yeah, that's just like you said, the timeout, and it'll disappear on its own after, for example, a couple of seconds, or however much makes sense. And I'm thinking something like that for this. On some mobile implementations, you can sort of press the toast to make it go away, but I think in our case we're just gonna pass the message to the user and let it stay there for like 5 or 10 seconds and then have it go away. And if you want to keep like overloading your CPU, then you can, and then maybe it'll pop up again after some sort of time, like after a minute or something, 30 seconds. Okay. I believe I had some tools to help me do this kind of stuff. Rotation utilities. I'm gonna need rotation utils. So let's say using synthvr VR interaction. And so now we have public axis. There we go. access to lock. Okay, and let's see how we're gonna do that. We have the target rotation being okay. So we're gonna need to store the original position. We're also going to need to store the original rotation, so that if we're locking on an axis, then we can at least we can keep that original position and rotation on that axis. So original position is going to be the current position, and original rotation is going to be the current rotation, world space, and that should be it. And then we want basically to say if we're going to calculate the target position and the target rotation, and if we are trying to lock an axis, in our case we're trying to lock the y-axis, we would want to modify that target position such that we have to go axis to lock, and that position needs to be something else. We can't do it that way. Can we assign this way? I hope we can. Let's try it. On this locked axis, we want to take the original position at that locked axis. Can we do that? Looks like we were allowed. And the rotation, of course, is a quaternion, so we might be out of luck there with this approach. Let's try just locking the position for now and see if that actually works. Then we'll deal with the rotation afterwards. So let's see here. So we want this toast to lock an axis, and that axis should be y. Let's try and run that, see how it goes. Ah, beautiful. Oh, it looks kind of nice this way. Oh, when I look down, it gets very close to me. I guess if I'm tired, I can read it that way. What are you saying to me? Usage too high? Too damn high. Well, I like this. Except that it's following me around everywhere. But like this, it's like, it's just inside of my field of view. When I look down, obviously I can see CPU usage too high. Try removing some modules in your session. Okay. And it's making me a little nauseous that it's tracking so tightly. So what I'm going to do is I am going to smooth it out even more. It's making this like slow thing that's following you around. Message from the back end being like, hey, you need to slow down, friend. There we go. CPU usage too high. Try removing some modules in the session. Yeah. You could obviously wouldn't see that, but you can look down like this. Okay. I think that's pretty nice actually. It actually, not locking the rotation actually makes it so that it almost always sort of perfectly faces you. So I'm gonna like be going around and I'm gonna be looking down. Oh no, CPU usage is too high. Try removing some modules. Okay, I guess we can do that. So we can go in and delete some stuff. Yay, we did well. So I like it. I think, though, that we have to move it a little bit closer into view, just to make sure everyone sees it. Then again, so I'm average Danish height, 0.7. I think 0.7 is good. If we need to make it height aware, we will do it, but I don't think it's necessary for now to do that. Cool. We're getting closer. So the next thing we want to do is we want other components of the app to be able to activate this toast. And one of the things obviously you need to be able to do is you need to be able to set the text, and you need to be able to specify what kind of a toast this is. Is this an error toast or a warning toast? Or is this just like a system message toast? So it could, for example, say patch loaded. Patch loading when you start loading something. So what we're going to need is a this isn't really a touchscreen thing, but it is a menu thing, I suppose. Let's make a toast controller. Okay, and a classic Unity thing to do here would be to make this a singleton, so it's accessible everywhere. But I think we're going to try and avoid that for now. Actually, why not? Why not just make it a singleton, make it available? No. Or yes. No, we're not going to do that. Not for now. We're going to have them look for it instead. We're going to be the namespace. It's going to be synthvr.vr.menu. Okay. Good. Good, good. And what does a toast controller need? It needs a couple of things. It needs to know about the text that it's got. So text mesh pro. Is that it? What are they called? These text components. They're called. Oh, is it still locked? Text mesh pro text UI. Okay. Team Pro. Let's see if that's the one. So if I have a, let's just let it compile. So if I have a toast controller, you should be able to add my title onto here. Yes, I can. Good. So keeping in line with that, we're going to make a description reference. And also we're going to ask for a background reference. And what is the background actually made of? Is it an image component? It's an image component. Okay. So we're going to ask for a public image. And I'm assuming I need Unity Engine UI. And we're going to call that background. Let's go. I'm going to reorder them. Okay. Good stuff. So the other thing we might want is we might want a list of colors. Let's do like this. Message color, warning color, So we're going to ask you to set some different colors here. And error color. And so the red that we just made here, it's not actually an error, but I think we're gonna keep that. Let's make this the error color. There we go. And a warning color that might be like a yellowy sort of version of this. Ooh, doesn't look too good, does it? Yeah, we'll figure it out. Figure it out along the way. And for a message color, we'll just do like a plain gray. Okay. And whoop. Good. The next thing we would need would be to give the references here, title and description. And as a final thing before we wrap up, I think I just want to make it such that the toast can be activated. Public static, so this is going to be like anyone can trigger this. No, that's not going to be able to do it like that, but we're going to be able to show toast. Or of course it needs to be in the class. And you'd want to be title text, description text, and then you'd want message type. We'd want to be able to provide either message, info, warning, error. So message type. Oh, this needs to be a public email. There we go. Simplify this API here. Okay. So you're going to be asked, when you want to make a toast, you're going to be asked what kind of text you want to put in and what kind of type of message it is. And then we'll also want to set some sort of timeout. And I don't know how long this needs to be. We could say 4 seconds for now. Show toast 4 seconds. So, no seconds. This is something to run a coroutine in Unity. So what we can do in a coroutine is we can say, we'd want to do something like show the toast, and then we can say yield return new wait for seconds. No seconds, so we can have it wait for a little while, and then it should kill the toast. We'll call it make toast. And just as a test, maybe we can say we can just do there we go. Dinner roll. Whatever happened to the module skins that were posted a while back? Is there a plan to get those implemented? Maybe skins could be used as monetization strategy. Yeah, it's a good point. We do have a plan to do it. Let's see where it is in the plan. So right now we're here. We're doing toasts. We're doing some modules, and we need to support Vive and stuff a little bit better. We have more modules. We have some recording. It's here under module customization. I'm not exactly sure where this should go because I feel like it's more important than long term. User generated modules, that might be possible, but it's that is definitely still long term because I'm waiting for another technology before it's gonna be perfect. But what we could do, we should probably move this into medium term for sure. Because I do want to do this. And the work that Javier had done was really good. It's really nice stuff that he made. I wonder if I can find it in case you haven't seen it. Oof. There it is. They were awesome indeed. They're really, really cool. He really did some good work here. I quite like this one in the corner here. Obviously these are mock-ups, but the one that I love is this this one here. Let me just open this up a little bit bigger because this is so cool. Oh, that's a little too big. This one. This is so punk. I love it. It's like it's all just handwritten onto there and it's like taped up. The thing is, if we decide to do it, we're gonna need one of those for every single like prime module. But what we need is a way to load that in at runtime. It's pretty easy to change out the faceplates, but it needs some extra like. I'm not quite sure how yet. Like maybe you'd go to settings and you'd select like a skin set or something. I'm not quite sure. Or maybe you would select the skin per module, but then also I'm not quite sure how that would work. But we need to work that out. But I definitely do want to do it. Definitely want to do it soon. Before release, that's for sure. In start, we can just do this as a test. So we can say title.text should be title and description, the text should be description. And what else? If this is a bit of a it set background color to be info color. That's a better way to map this. I know, but I can set a default for this. It could be info. It might be complicated, but Steam has the market you might be able to implement. Yeah. Yeah. I think the problem is because the app is going to live on Steam and the Oculus Store. There's a bit of an issue there as to how you would do it. So I think you'd sort of need your own system in the middle, and then that system would use either Steam or Oculus as a backend. And so, yeah, it starts to get a little bit hairy, or at least there's a lot of work there to monetize with skins and stuff, but you know, could work, I suppose. I think it's definitely worth like thinking about it more, but I'm not sure if skins should be monetized. Not if you've paid for the app already, but it depends on how the app will, what the payment model is going to be for the app. Anyway, this is the test. So let me just make a test. Yeah, I really appreciate the ideas. I think it's I think it could work, definitely. I think it could work. What I want for sure is some sort of system where you can either change all your modules into a theme, like a skin theme, or otherwise some way that you can change out individual modules to theme them. I think that would be awesome. All right, final stretch here. So we're just gonna make demo toast maker. We'll make a little toast, and what that will do is it will take a toast controller, toaster, let's say. It'll wait for a bit of time, and then it'll make a toast. And we'll just see if that works. So and we're gonna need to do that. We're gonna need synthvr.vr.menu. There we go. And so the toaster should say it should wait for a couple seconds, and then it should make a toast. So we'll do toaster dot make toast. Testing stuff. This is a nice test, and let's make it because it's currently red. Let's make it like a warning, so we'll see it get yellow. Cool. All right, let's try this out. Compiling and toast maker. Let's wait 10 seconds just to be sure. So I would expect now, if I open up the app, that we're going to have nothing for a little while. Yep, I'm not seeing any toast right now. For 10 seconds, so I might be like just doing something, you know, setting up some stuff. Yep, it's all good. Connecting things together, whatever I want really. And has 10 seconds passed yet? I don't know. Well, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Oh, that's because it did not start its work. Start coroutine, show toast for seconds. So it sets up the toast first, and then what's the problem here? Oh, timeout seconds. There we go. I'm getting tired now. Okay, let's see. So about 5 seconds will pass. Once I get into the app, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish. I don't see nothing. Ouch. Ah. Coroutine couldn't be started because the game object is inactive. Is there a way to easily show? Okay, so what we'll do instead is we'll get the canvas. It's probably the way we'd want to do it for real anyway. So we enable and disable the canvas. Here we go. And play. It's always good to end on a high note, you know? Ooh. Okay. It appeared. A couple of things didn't work as they're supposed to. Oh, yeah. Stuff is falling down. The variable canvas had not been assigned. Right. That is a problem. Okay. Now the canvas should be gone, which it is. And here's my text. And then it disappears. Good. Final thing is, I'm not quite sure why the color didn't work. Oh, I know why actually. That is because these colors are set to be transparent, which they obviously shouldn't be. Okay, let's try again. Here I am waiting for my toast. Beautiful. Strong mustard yellow. I love it. Alright, that's about as much synthing that I can do today. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks Dinnerroll for the awesome suggestions. And I'll see you guys around the server soon.